Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through complex sources, find those core insights, and really help you get truly well-informed.
That's the goal.
So today, we're taking on something pretty big, a journey that might, well, just reshape how you think about reality itself.
It's definitely a mind bender.
Yeah, imagine for a second that what we see, what we touch, our everyday world, it isn't the whole story.
Not even close, perhaps.
Exactly. What if there's this vast, unseen universe all around us? And maybe much more to us than we usually think.
That's the core idea we're exploring. Our mission today is to dive into sources suggesting we aren't just physical bodies in a physical world.
Okay.
The idea is we might actually be multidimensional beings living in a multidimensional universe.
Empty-dimensional beings.
Yeah, and we'll try to connect some ancient spiritual ideas with what modern quantum physics is telling us, and then look at some very current and, frankly, pretty controversial claims.
Right, the controversial stuff usually gets interesting. So the big question driving this whole deep dive is, could those ancient ideas about hidden dimensions, could they actually be explained, maybe even backed up, by modern science?
That's what we're asking. We're
Huh.
definitely going to unpack some ideas that might feel revolutionary. So yeah, settle in.
Okay, let's start with this ancient angle. The whole multidimensional universe thing, it can sound like something straight out of, I don't know, science fiction.
Right, it does have that vibe.
But what if it's not new, like really, really old? What does this ancient wisdom actually have to say about other realms, these hidden dimensions?
Well, it's pretty striking how common these ideas were, you know. Our sources show that this belief that we're multidimensional, living in a multidimensional cosmos, it goes way back, like to the earliest civilizations.
Really? Like who specifically?
We're talking ancient philosophies, spiritual traditions, think Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, even Kabbalism, the Jewish mystical tradition. They all had deep beliefs about multiple levels of existence.
So it wasn't just some fringe thing, it was pretty central to how they saw the world.
Seemed like it, yeah. Very central. They often shared this core idea. The universe is kind of split
Of how?
into two main planes. You've got the visible physical reality we experience daily, but then there's this other, much larger, unseen realm, hidden dimensions.
Hidden dimensions, okay.
And they figured these hidden parts make up way more of the universe than the little physical slice we can see.
That's, wow. And you're saying modern science kind of echoes that.
Well, it's an interesting parallel. Physicists today talk about dark matter and dark energy,
Yeah.
right? Stuff they can't see, doesn't interact with light, but they calculate it makes up most of the universe's mass and energy.
Yeah, like 95% or something crazy.
Exactly. Now, they aren't necessarily saying higher dimensions in the exact same way as the ancients, but acknowledging that most of reality is unseen, that definitely resonates.
Okay, that is a strong connection. It's like the ancients felt something that science is now measuring, almost. Can you give us some concrete examples from those old texts?
Sure. Take the Vishnu Purana, an ancient Hindu text. There's a line, it says something like, "This universe composed of 7 zones is everywhere swarming with living creatures large or small, so that there is not the 1/8 part of an inch in which they do not abound."
Swarming with creatures everywhere, even in supposedly empty space.
That's the implication. It suggests life isn't just on our visible level. And Eastern spiritual science often talks about 7 planes of existence.
7 planes.
Yeah, the lower ones are more material, physical. The higher ones get more subtle, more energetic. But here's the key bit they emphasize.
What's that?
They're not separate places you travel to. They all interpenetrate. They occupy the same space we do right now.
Whoa. So they're here, but we just don't see them.
Exactly. Perceiving them requires different levels of consciousness, according to these traditions.
Different consciousness, not different location.
Yeah.
That's a big shift in thinking. How did they suggest people reach that state?
Often through things like meditation, deep contemplation, spiritual practices, ways to tune awareness beyond just the physical senses.
Makes sense.
And look at the Kabbalah, too. It has its tree of life cosmology with 10 Sephiroth worlds or emanations. And these apparently correspond pretty well to those 7 planes in the Eastern systems.
Interesting how different cultures arrived at similar structures.
It is, and there's another quote from the Emeralds of the Sage. It says, "Know ye, O man, that all space is filled by worlds within worlds, I one within the other, yet separate by law."
Worlds within worlds, separate by law.
Ah.
That's beautiful, actually. It captures that idea of coexistence, but maybe different rules, different physics almost.
Or different frequencies, perhaps. It feels like these ancient cultures, they intuitively got this idea of unseen realities existing alongside ours. They just didn't have the scientific language or tools we have now.
Right, they couldn't explain the how.
But the argument some are making now is maybe the how is just physics. The physics of energy, frequency, vibration.
Okay, so let's bridge that gap. Ancient wisdom hints at unseen realms. What about our best science? Quantum physics, specifically.
Yeah.
What does it say about reality? Does it line up with this ancient energetic view?
Oh, it lines up in ways that are profoundly shocking, frankly. Quantum physics basically throws our everyday understanding of a solid material world out the window.
Throws it out how?
Well, the consistent message from top physicists, Nobel laureates even, is basically this. What we perceive as physical and material, it's really not fundamentally.
Okay, hold on. Not physical, not material.
Like
that
that.
goes against everything we experience. If this table isn't material, what is it?
Exactly. It messes with your head. Niels Bohr, the Danish physicist, Nobel winner in 22, he famously said something like, if quantum mechanics hasn't profoundly shocked you, you haven't understood it yet.
I think I'm starting to feel the shock.
He also said, everything we call real is made of things that cannot be regarded as real. That captures the shift that happened around the turn of the 19th century. That old clockwork, Newtonian idea of a purely physical universe, it just didn't hold up under scrutiny.
So the idea that matter is just an illusion, that took over.
That became the understanding at the deepest level, yeah. Scientists realize everything, absolutely everything in the universe seems to be made of pure energy.
Pure energy.
Nikola Tesla was really onto this. You know that famous quote, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Right, I've heard that. So it wasn't just some philosophical musing for him.
Seems like he understood it as physics. And quantum physicists digging into atoms found just that. Atoms aren't tiny solid balls. They're more like non-physical vortices of energy, constantly spinning, vibrating, each with its own unique energy signature.
Vortices of energy. So if I could zoom into an atom, like really zoom in, what would I see?
According to the physics, nothing's solid. You'd observe a physical void. The atom itself has no actual physical structure in the way we normally think of structure.
Wait, if atoms have no physical structure and everything's made of atoms,
then we have no fundamental physical structure. Physical things don't really have anything physical in them. It's all invisible energy, not tangible matter.
That's incredibly hard to grasp.
It is. Richard Kahn Henry, a physics and astronomy professor, apparently put it very bluntly. He said, get over it and accept the inarguable conclusion. The universe is immaterial, mental, and spiritual.
Wow. Immaterial, mental, and spiritual.
Yeah.
That's a huge statement coming from a physicist.
It shows how far the implications reach. It reminds me of another Tesla quote, actually. He predicted something like, the day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in one decade than in all the previous centuries.
And it feels like maybe we're entering that decade now.
Perhaps. Sir James Jeans, another pioneering physicist, said it well, too. He talked about this stream of knowledge heading towards a non-mechanical reality, the universe looking more like a great thought than a great machine.
A great thought.
Yeah. And he added that mind shouldn't be seen as some accident that just popped up in matter. Instead, maybe we should see mind as the creator and governor of matter.
Creator and governor. Okay, so boiling this down for us, for the listener, what does all this quantum weirdness mean practically?
It means fundamentally you are a being of energy and vibration. You're radiating your own unique energy signature, your own frequency. We are way more than just these physical bodies we perceive. And maybe it's time we started seeing ourselves and reality in that light.
All right. We have ancient wisdom pointing to unseen dimensions, quantum physics saying reality is energetic and maybe not even real in the way we think. Now let's get to the really interesting, maybe provocative part. What happens when someone says, hey, I've built something that can actually see these other dimensions, these other beings?
Yeah, this is where it gets, well, pretty controversial. This brings us to a guy named Daniel Nemes.
Daniel Nemes. Okay, who is he?
According to our sources, he's a scientist and inventor based in Korea, had a passion for science, astronomy since he was a teen, and his big claim, he says he's developed amazing technology that can actually photograph multidimensional beings.
Photograph him. Seriously. Okay, what inspired him? How did he even start down that road?
Apparently, he read a magazine article about dark matter. That sparked his interest in this whole multidimensional universe idea. He thought maybe there's a way to actually see into it. So he started doing optical experiments, mathematical calculations.
Trying to find a way to visualize the unseen? What about existing tech? Like infrared, UV?
He knew about those blacklight imaging too, but he felt they weren't enough. He wanted to go, as he put it, one step ahead. Find a way to capture the truly unknown.
And he calls his invention
Energy vision. He says it uses special lenses, sunlight, and ultra-sensitive screens that he actually created himself.
Okay, special lenses, sunlight, sensitive screens. And what does he claim he's capturing with this setup?
He claims the images are of unknown origin, that they come from other planes of existence, and that they show various multidimensional beings and creatures.
Beings and creatures from other planes. That's an absolutely massive claim.
Yeah.
Has he, shown this to NASA or other scientific groups? Gotten it validated?
Well, he says he hasn't exposed his invention directly to groups like NASA. He claims he has tried to make the scientific community aware, but
Right.
he also claims the media has basically silenced his discovery and the images, which, makes independent scientific validation pretty tough if nobody gets to seriously examine the tech or the results.
Yeah, that's a classic problem. If you can't get mainstream attention or scrutiny, how do you prove such an extraordinary claim?
Wow.
So how has he shared this work then?
Mostly through social media. Since about 2015, he's apparently posted over 10,000 photos to his Facebook page.
10,000 photos. Wow, what was the reaction initially?
He says himself it was rough. A lot of rejection, many insults, tons of disbelief. He mentioned it was very hard at first.
I can imagine. Pushing something that far outside the box.
But he also says things have shifted a bit, that the images are more known now, and he gets fewer insults or dismissals when he posts new ones.
So persistence has maybe built some kind of audience, at least online. What do the photos actually look like? Are they just blurry blobs or?
Descriptions say they are strange, and apparently in almost all of them you can make out strange figures or faces.
Figures and faces, huh?
And here's where another interesting connection comes in, according to the sources.
How's that?
People who've had certain kinds of profound spiritual experiences, or people who have used DMT.
Right, the spirit molecule.
Exactly. Those people sometimes report seeing entities or beings during their experiences.
Okay.
And apparently, some of them say the beings they saw look very similar to the figures appearing in Neames's photographs.
Whoa. Okay, that is interesting. Anecdotal, sure, but a very curious overlap between subjective experience and his claimed objective captures.
It definitely adds another layer, doesn't it? But, we have to be careful here. The crucial caveat is
It's not proof.
exactly whether these really are photos of multidimensional beings from other worlds. That is absolutely still unproven, needs rigorous, independent scientific checking. But you have to admit, the images themselves, they are fascinating to look at. They really make you wonder.
Absolutely, they make you wonder, and that feels like a good place to pause and reflect as we wrap up this deep dive.
Yeah, it's been quite a trip.
We started with ancient cultures convinced of hidden dimensions all around us.
Then jumped to quantum physics, telling us our solid world is actually energetic, immaterial, maybe even illusory at its core.
And finally landed on Daniel Neames and his really controversial claim to be photographing beings from those other dimensions.
It's a journey that really pushes at the boundaries of our understanding, doesn't it? Challenges our basic assumptions about reality, about ourselves. It suggests maybe things are much more fluid, much more interconnected than we usually think.
More about energy and perception than just solid stuff.
Precisely.
So here's maybe the final thought to leave you with, something to chew on. If modern science itself is pointing towards an immaterial universe vibrating with energy, and ancient wisdom across the globe spoke of countless unseen dimensions teeming with life, all coexisting, what does that really imply about the true scale of reality?
And our place in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other aspects of existence might be right here, right now, just waiting for us to shift our perception, our understanding, our science enough to finally see them?
It suggests a universe far richer, far stranger, and maybe far more populated than we've ever dared to imagine.